Namaste, my friend. Namaste. No worries during the day, no anxiety, no false eye. Mind is not running after the delusion and attachment. What is that state? That state comes from within and it is known as the power of contentment. And that contentment has two factors. One is the happiness, and other is the satisfaction. After a few weeks understanding the delusion, foolishness, falsity, pleasure-based desire, mind is running after so many things. We are moving into the second verse. It talks about the contentment. So, first we should understand what is contentment before we go to the verse taught by our master. That is why I said you wake up in the morning, you are full of joy, absence of delusion because you have recognized it, absence of foolishness because you recognized it. So when you recognize, you don't run after it. And throughout the day, your thought, speech, and action is full of happiness. You are satisfied and you experience the sense of contentment. Next day, you wake up in the morning and you had a dream of seeking pleasure. You instantly become aware of the happiness within you, satisfaction in you from the life, and you are in the state of contentment. During the day, someone says you something, before it touches you, before you react, you throw it into the air, you are in a sense of contentment. Tell me, is it possible or not? It is 100% possible. But if we don't understand and recognize and drop the delusion, it is not possible. Because that delusion will create lot of stuff inside your mind. And then the mind will have a thought and a feeling and associate with particular event and it will cause the problem. I'm going slowly so that you understand it and then you repeat, then you apply, you observe your life. That what you think is contentment and what really is the state of contentment is deeper inside, very deep inside your mind. Happiness, satisfaction, what makes you anxious, reactive, deluded. Because we are living in the world of pleasure, surrounded by unprecedented comfort and conveniences, and yet experiencing a deep inner emptiness. We have all the comfort and luxuries of our life, all the conveniences, It is like a hamsters on a wheel. They run faster and faster, chasing mirages of contentment in the desert of the world outside, from a person, from a relation, from an event. Our society has programmed them to believe that the peace lies in the next pleasure. Paying attention. I need your attention. Society has programmed my mind. It lives in delusion and foolishness. So, out of delusion and foolishness, this mind says what the mind says. Mind says if my daughter or brother or son or sister or relation will please me, I will have contentment. If this event bring a pleasure to me, I will have a contentment. If I have a new purchase from the Amazon, I will have a sense of contentment. I will achieve something new, dominating the other. I will have a sense of contentment. But this is not nothing to do with the contentment. So, my friend and my sister, you have to think, you have to contemplate and reflect that the contentment is a deeper state of the mind. It is an inner state. It is independent of anything outside. It is not the end of a chase of something in the world. It is a new state of the mind, contentment. But first, there is a satisfaction, there is a happiness. Can you tell me, are you satisfied with anything in the world? Car, uh, what you buy on the Amazon, clothes, lipstick. If you are satisfied, so you don't buy the second one. So we are looking for the next achievement. We are looking for the next purchase. We are looking for the next event. We are looking for the next food for the pleasure. We are looking for next, next. Mind is seeking the pleasure outside, which we claim as a happiness. We fall into the delusion. I said happiness within, delusion gone, satisfaction within, foolishness gone. And then we look inside our mind or inside our heart. What is that state? That state is contentment. I'm making it very simple. We are into the second verse from this text. So, but first, it indicates the power of contentment. So that is why we are understanding. So we have gone through a lot of talks about delusion, foolishness, anxiety, reaction. One guy told me, now that is okay. Now I will stop attending your lesson. I said, now the real thing is coming. Now the contentment is coming and you are leaving it. So our mind is also feels as if I got pleasure from this beer guy. So, okay, I'm happy and satisfied. It is done. No, it is not done until we reach to a state of recognition and realization of something beyond the mind, beyond the body. So I have started talking of the contentment. contentment. In so we act like a thirsty fish swimming in the water. Did you understand it? We are thinking, speaking, and acting like a thirsty fish in the water, surrounded by what you see, but looking in the wrong direction. Modern world has become extraordinarily skilled at selling sophisticated forms of delusion, packaging temporary relief as a lasting contentment. You marry, you will be happy. And then you divorce, you will be happy. Then you remarry, you will be happy. You look at the temporary packaging. But that contentment is deeper. But it can only manifest if there is no delusion, there is no foolishness. I've been repeating the same thing. I recently got a cataract surgery, and so those medical assistant to women were anxious, looking at my beard. They they asked me to lie down, and they were putting, one thing and to check the heart rate and the pulse rate and put the oxygen, and I could see them full of anxiety. So I asked one assistant, do you have any machine in your house which is 20 or maybe 30-year-old machine working fine? So my question attracted the attention of both the girls. Oh, we don't have. Or my car is also 5 years old or 6 years, we don't have. Then I pointed myself on the body. I said, this is 66-year-old machine working fine. So be calm and relaxed. They had a laugh and they had smiled. They had realized their anxiety and the reaction. Reaction anxiety is unfounded. You have to reach to that state where your mind is totally free. Not only you live into the state of contentment, but you also help others to bring down their delusion of anxiety and duality. So look at some modern means people employ for the sake of contentment, but one thing has to be very clear. Contentment is not outside, it is inside. Contentment is not the property of this mouse, not the property of this phone, not the property of the body, not the property of this computer. It is little deeper inside. Almost it bypasses the mind. But what the mind says, yeah, if I travel the world, I collect the exotic experiences, I post perfectly curated photos, I always plan for the next adventure. That will bring a sense of contentment. Answer is no. One student of mine said, I'm going on a vacation, to what you do on a vacation. I'm going with my two kids, and my husband is there. And from Utah, my sister is coming. Oh, so you will spend the time in gossiping the same thing which you say a vacation. Vacation means that you empty your mind, vacate your mind, vacate your mind from the pleasure based desire. You meet someone with an intention to vacate your mind. What does it mean? You don't say anything about yourself. You listen to them. You appreciate them. You recognize them. Finished. You are happy. You return with happiness and satisfaction. But but if you are entering into the gossip comes from basically the delusion. Another process that I have seen a lot of people, wellness consumer. I am a consumer of what? Computer. I'm a consumer of lot of podcast. Why? Because I feel the temporary calmness. Listening to it, it makes me feel good. We want you to change, not only feel good. So we are a consumer of different things which appears positive, but without changing our life. Then we take a dopamine. You already know dopamine, but I'm not talking about that dopamine. I'm talking about digital dopamine. What is digital dopamine? You're sitting before television and you have a remote. Dopamine, dopamine, phone, dopamine, computer, dopamine. Each notification, each pressure from the thought, oh, let me look at the CNN. No, no, ABC. Oh, no, no, MSNB. No, Ray. What is that? MSNBC, the beautiful girl who gives the program, Meadow. I don't become aware. It takes you far away from the contentment, the relationship collector. Collector. We are collector of so many things. I talk to my son, relationship collector. I talk to my sister, relationship collector. I talk to my daughter, relationship collector. I talk to that guy, relationship collector. So I collect so many precious things from the relationship, which I allow the mind to multiply. Result is discontentment. I'm not saying don't talk to him. Talk to everyone. Communicate with everyone. But with contentment. Can I give you an example of this? Look at this. This soil grows such a tall tree. No, it is not the soil. It is not the water. It is not the fertilizer. It is the seed. The very essence of the tallness of the tree is located in the seed. So, seed manifested into a tall tree. You manifest into the permanent peace and happiness, not anyone outside. So, what happens when you experience that happiness? You express that happiness in relationship. So, you are not a relationship collector, You are an expression of happiness. I believe you are not too much into the social media. If you are, then we have to maintain our awareness. Status symbol in luxury. Another area of the another area of chasing the contentment but get discontentment. Expensive car, feel an expensive gift, and lot of things to buy from Amazon. Lot of stuff. We have to be very mindful. Achievement addiction. We have a sense of achievement addiction. Relationship dependencies. It also causes the discontentment. I depend. I have found because, when I talk to this, my sister, my brother, my relations, I will have a power of discontentment instead of but I'm searching contentment. There is another also. There are many ways. So I'm just giving you few of them so that when you listen and let me know, send me the message or talk to me that what are the areas of your discontentment. Remember, first, satisfaction. Second is happiness. Then, in that state of happiness and satisfaction within you, it results into contentment. Then, what happens? One guy, when I told him that I focus more on the text that you are studying, no, I have studied it. So I refer to another, no, I have studied it. So I realized that it is better to now keep quiet. So after a few minutes, he said, I have a lot of stress. I did not say to him, you have already studied it. And that text says contentment, permanent peace, and happiness. What you have read. You have read, you studied, but you did not study yourself. Studying the Eastern wisdom means that I study myself. I didn't say anything. So another form of problem is that knowledge addiction. I accumulate lot of intellectual information from the different texts, from the different podcasts, but I don't apply it. I don't implement it, or I don't know how to implement it. Eastern wisdom is a different discipline. It says study Eastern wisdom to study yourself, and it tells you how to apply. That is why we have recognized the delusion and the foolishness. Next week, we'll do the practice also. So, in each case which I mentioned just now, we are chasing for contentment, but we get discontentment. The false I can use the word now, you can easily understand attachment and delusion and the foolishness creates a substitute for a real contentment. So when it substitute, it needs a constant maintenance and renewal of that contentment. It depends on external circumstances. It creates subtle anxiety about losing it. It involves comparison with others. It requires efforts to maintain, and it dissolves under close examination. Dissolves means delusion is gone, foolishness is gone, you have a true contentment. Tell me, don't you have enough to live your life? I want to hear the answer, yes. Such a beautiful house. You're carrying your pets. You're carrying your pets, is it not? You're a beautiful sister, is it not? I'm saying you, my sister. What makes you to fall into anxiety and reaction? I can bet you that you are better placed than me. So when you observe, reflect on this, that need based desires are fulfilled. What causes you the anxiety, reaction, anger? You are seeking something from outside, which I have already explained you in variety of ways. You are looking for a contentment outside. It is it is nothing but delusion and foolishness. So when you drop it, then you are happy and satisfied. When you that sense of happiness and satisfaction comes from within, it results into an awareness of a deeper state, which is known as the true contentment. True contentment does not change, it remains all the time, regardless of the clouds passing through it. It is like the sky. What I said? It is like the sky, unchanging regardless of the clouds passing through it. It requires no maintenance, no external support, and is always present once discovered beneath, deep inside your mind, behind and beyond the delusion and the foolishness. It is not opposed to having possession or achievement, but it is not dependent on them. That is very important. Let us see some practical examples so that your mind can think and contemplate over it. Take an example of a shopping before shopping. Buy things to feel better, always needing the latest items. After buying what is needed, enjoying it fully, but not seeking happiness through the purchases. You have recognized the power of contentment. Did you get it? I said simple. Buying things to feel better, it's okay before. Always needing the latest item, that is also okay. But after buying what is needed during the shopping, buying what is needed, enjoying it fully, but not seeking happiness through those purchases because it is a need. So, what happens to your mind? You will recognize and experience that as if you have gone for a shopping for 3 hours, you return home, and your mind says, "No, I'm okay, I'm fine." Should I explain to you the same thing in relationship? Before, constant need for validation and attention. When you were in delusion, foolishness, so you were constantly needing, demanding validation and attention. What happens after genuine appreciation of connections while maintaining inner stability? How easy it is. Contentment is there. What about the work before? Constant, endless striving for success, never feeling it is enough. When you go to a workplace and you feel It is never enough. You are already have a discontentment because those impressions will multiply in your mind, will create some kind of delusion, and what is after? Giving your best. You are going to the workplace to give you the best. Your mind is focused and attentive what I have to do, how I have to do, how better I can do, and you do it and come back. We are understanding the difference between the two. One is the fake contentment that we recognize in our life by chasing the pleasure outside, seeking a validation outside, but and the other is the satisfaction and the happiness by dropping the delusion. Now, at least, we should start talking about the contentment and happiness, and we should experience that. Daily activities before the daily activities, always rushing to the next thing, missing the present. You wake up in the morning, you are in anxiety and you have nothing to work upon the anxiety, and the whole day increases, your level of anxiety increases, the reaction increases. Now, do you really find the richness in simple moments? You wake up in the morning, you practice the Shanti mantra, your mind is now full of happiness and joy. You go to the kitchen, prepare a cup of coffee, and sit down in the moment of happiness and satisfaction and the state of contentment. Are you getting it? So, the real contentment is like turning a rushing river, outward flowing mind back to its source. In the beginning, it is impossible, and that because it was impossible for you, that is why I had a couple of sessions about ignorance, attachment, delusion, foolishness. You will definitely appreciate this. That is why I had many sessions. Understand, understand, understand. The current is too strong. Rushing river, current is too strong. Rushing river is the outward flowing mind. The current of outward flowing mind is too strong. Shopping list, relationship list, dopamine, digital dopamine, and many others. The contentment is like a canvas. It is visible only when you paint happiness and satisfaction on that. So it is just a canvas, and you are painting happiness and satisfaction. So that canvas turns out to be a state of contentment. It is much deeper. It is stable. It is a deeper state of mind. It is a total acceptance of the outer circumstances. The outer world keeps on changing. One day your daughter will appreciate, the other day will criticize you. That keeps on changing. You don't take care. The contentment is a deeper state of peaceful satisfaction and happiness, acceptance of the entire world. So when you have accept the world as it is, you don't allow the world to live in you. It's a deeper internal state, not an outer state of having wealth, possession, and relation. They are need based. It does not mean we do not possess them. Doesn't mean that we are not related, we don't have wealth, we don't have relate. No, we have everything. Minus, say yourself. Simple question comes, what should we do to discover the inner state of contentment in daily life? Become aware of this obsession based mind or pleasure seeking mind from the world outside. Now you can recognize, because you know it is a delusion and a foolishness. So the moment you recognize the pleasure seeking mind from the world outside, you recognize internally, you become simply aware. Is it not possible? That is why we had a lot of the sessions on delusion. So you instantly recognize the delusion. What happens? That hesitation, that reaction, that driving force by which the mind is going outside is dropped. And the moment it is dropped, you are in peace, you're happy with, you're peace with yourself. You get some sense of experience of satisfaction. We shouldn't be butterfly. What do you mean by it? Can you find out meaning with the butterfly? What the butterfly does? Butterfly fluttering from flower to flower, never staying in one place long enough. Why? Pleasure outside is a delusion. It chases external pleasures. So we also start chasing the external pleasures, a new thing to buy from Amazon, meeting a person to seek appreciation, a new phone today, a lot of possessions. Oh, let me find a companion, praise from others, fluttering from flower, because we think it's a flower. After all, you are my relation, so you are a flower. You will definitely appreciate me. So I have a lot of expectation, and I go to you, and you criticize me. Then I'm frustrated. Forget about peace and happiness and satisfaction, and then the contentment is a dream. But we have already understood that every pleasure that we receive outside fades within days. When you are thinking like this is what the discernment is. You're separating. You're separating happiness, satisfaction from eating food. How much time it took? 15 minutes. It's gone. Am I really happy and satisfied? No, because my mind jumps to the second thing. Now I become aware. Why mind you are jumping from one thing to the other? You told me you are happy and satisfied with this food, and now you have sat down and you are digital dopamine. So the moment you become aware, what mind stops chasing the external pleasure, you recognize and you just hold on. Oh, let me hold on for a few minutes until I'm clear that I'm not seeking happiness and satisfaction from watching the TV. Check your mind, the state, and then ask yourself, what should I watch? News. Okay, let me watch the news. Finished. So now the TV is not giving you the pleasure, but the happiness is being expressed watching the TV. You're finished. You're done with it. So what are the challenges that we face in order to discover, experience, recognize, and realize that contentment that I have covered in couple of sessions? What? I told you attachment, ignorance, delusion, foolishness. So it means now I really understand. I have digested that understanding. So the moment my mind starts moving into that direction of attachment and delusion, you simply become aware of it. How you become, you simply think in your head that now mind you why you are chasing this. Mind now, the next moment you'll fall into delusion. Better to hold on. Say in your mind, and you see the response of the mind. Mind is going to change. But there is some initial resistance. The mind initially rebels against turning inward. It's like a wild horse resisting the reins. It creates excuses, distractions, and rationalizations to maintain its old pattern. I've already told you, break the old pattern. The moment you wake up in the morning, Shanti Mantra. So there is an initial resistance is already there. And to bypass this initial resistance, we already had the previous lessons. Now is the time to act upon. Continue with the Shanti mantra, listening and learning every day and practice. Finished. So that resistance is gone. Then what happens? Your mind during the day discovers that you're happy and satisfied. When you're happy and satisfied, one day we discover the contentment. Secret is this list, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, practice and experience, daily analysis. It demands a commitment and sincere practices only for a week. And then what happens? Instead, the mind thinks of an anxiety and fear and frustration. The mind will think, oh, what a peace and satisfaction within me. I gave the food to my pets. It gives me such a peace, and a happiness, and satisfaction. I understand it. We are talking about the second verse, and the focus of the second verse is contentment. So, if we are happy and satisfied, when the mind lives within, my happiness and satisfaction, if they are not dependent on any outer things or activities, they both paint the canvas of the mind, contentment emerges. You recognize, you experience, you love it, you enjoy it. Again, I'm repeating Shanti Mantra every day. First thing to Shanti Mantra every day in the morning. Before going to sleep, you repeat the Shanti Mantra, you start contemplating and reflecting. Most important, I said that when the delusion comes, I said it in one word. You drop the delusion, but by liberate principle, by liberate principle. And I told you, consistent listening and learning helps the mind to digest that knowledge. It helps you to raise your awareness. You're contemplating and reflecting on, on this Eastern wisdom that gives you a sense of freedom from the delusion and attachment. In that state of freedom from delusion, we understood by the liberate principle that you have a restfulness and calmness, liberate model. And that state of restfulness and a calmness, even experienced for few seconds, will take your mind deeper. Instead of the outward flow of the mind, it becomes the inward flow. And if it continues to remain there, you have a sense of contentment. Unlike, so in the first verse, we had a couple of sessions. What was the basis of that? I said, recognize and realize the real self of unconditional love, understanding the delusion causing foolishness leads to suffering. There we challenge the mind how long, how many days, why the same situation, condition, relations causes the anxiety. We recognize by the liberate principle, we understand it. We get rid of the five types of the foolishness. And that is the sign of the progress. You have already sent the last email, which tells me that you are evolving. Second verse says that the contentment is discovered. It is already there. Contentment is discovered, or contentment is recognized. Contentment is experienced when the clouds of pleasure seeking desire. Here, Master says straight up, we have already understood the delusion and the foolishness. Now, I will be happy I'm going there. No, I'm happy. That is why I'm going there. Do you see the desire, pleasure based desire, and need based desire? I am happy. That is why I'm going to meet you. I'm happy. That is why I'm going for an event. What you have to do. Such a simple thing to do that I remember that I'm going there. I'm going to talk. Because I'm happy. That's why I'm going there. Why? To keep your delusion and the foolishness at a bay, at a distance. What happens? No condition outside, no relation outside, no situation outside, no food outside, no repeat desire outside causes any sense of the happiness. You recognize that I'm happy, that's why I. You go to the Amazon website, digital, I told you, digital dopamine. You start looking at the things and you feel, oh, let me buy this and have this. At that moment, if you recognize, what do you recognize? Mind, you're seeking pleasure and happiness on the Amazon website, which is nothing but the dead matter appears on the laptop or the computer. How can you be happy when you stay in your mind? You open the door of love inside. Contentment has to be there. In order to sustain my life free from the illness and duality and a conflict. That is what we are expecting. I want to live free from anxiety, duality, conflict, any issues from relationship. I want to sustain that peace and happiness and satisfaction. It should continue to go. If I don't have the contentment, I cannot do that. So that is why in the second verse we are going deeper to experience, to find that contentment. Why the more we start searching and finding and reflecting the contentment inside, we can easily separate it from the external activities. External activities will continue. You love eating pasta from a particular restaurant. Yes, maybe next week you can go. Maybe after a month you can go again. But now you are happy. That is why you are going to that restaurant. You are not going there to seek happiness, sustain it, internal and external. Do you understand? Internal and external. So when we live into that state, it helps us appreciate the present moment rather than always chasing future goals. You told me long time ago that you had this problem. So this problem I'm translating that I'm chasing the future goals for satisfaction and happiness in the world outside is gone. When it is gone, you're happy. What happens by regular practice? Resilience is there. A very strong power of resilience is there in the world. And that resilience creates a positive cycle of happiness, satisfaction, contentment. At a surface level, satisfaction also is a kind of sense of fulfillment, but it is pointing to the contentment deeper inside us. It is not dependent on anything. Maybe It maybe you find your needs and expectations and desires are met. My sister, let me, my sister, simple thing to understand. Seeking validation through the social media, from the relations, from the people, from the event, shopping for temporary mood lift, chasing relationship perfection, exhausting yourself with endless self improvement, getting frustrated when nothing seems to bring lasting pieces. I'm running for contentment, but result is discontentment. Are you conscious of your deep sleep? No. When you wake up, you tell the story of your deep sleep. Ah, how peaceful and contentment is there. We want to reach to that state consciously, and we are going to do that. There is no anxiety in deep sleep, no seeking in deep sleep, no false I in deep sleep, no chasing in deep sleep. And we wake up, we find that sense of contentment. I can understand the mind's old grooves are deep and familiar. They create a habitual, monotonous, impulsive reaction to chase their pleasure outside. Society constantly reinforces the same thing, external seeking. I'm seeking an immediate pleasure are tempting compared to the inner work. We forget our moments of true peace is what is the modern life. What it takes you wake up in the morning, the first thing to remember, you even while lying down, you're setting Shanti mantra, and then you switch on, listen to it, or you can do the practice. After the practice, you just contemplate and reflect. An hour has already passed, but when you wake up, that mental state is different. Same thing when you go to the sleep, you do the same thing. You recognize how many times you were in anxiety reaction. So that very recognition brings that delusion on the surface level. The next day you will not do. So I just gave an introduction of the second verse. It's a sense of contentment. That is diva. It is painting the deeper layer of the mind, and the two colors of the paint is the peace and happiness and satisfaction within your mind. How you do it, you observe through the power of discernment, through the power of self-inquiry that prevents the mind to rush outside, and you experience, you start painting the satisfaction and the happiness. What happens to the mind? The mind continues to live inside into the state of the contentment. We will understand, but in the next week we will do a long practice, and then We will continue to understand this second verse. Thank you, my friend.